Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Christina Worcester and I almost forgot to make this video, but I didn't. It's my reading roundup for the month of January 2026. I read 8 books this month, a fact that I mainly attribute to me speedrunning my local library's winter reading program over the course of 3 days. First up, we have Say a Little Prayer by Jenna Voris. A wry, heartfelt tale of a teen who's taking her church camp by storm, one deadly sin at a time. Riley quietly left church a year ago when she realized there was no place for a bi girl in her congregation. But it wasn't until the pastor shunned her older sister for getting an abortion that she really wanted to burn it all down. It's just her luck then that she's sent to the principal's office for slapping a girl talking smack about her sister, and in order to avoid suspension, she has to spend spring break at church camp. The only saving grace is that she'll be there with her best friend Julia, even if Julia's dad is the pastor, and he's in charge of camp. But Riley won't let a technicality like repenting get in the way of her true mission. Instead of spending the week embracing the 7 heavenly virtues, she decides to commit all 7 deadly sins. If she can show the other campers that sometimes being a little bad is for the greater good, she could start a righteous revolution. What could possibly go wrong, aside from falling for the pastor's daughter? I liked this book. I thought it was very low conflict during like the first half of the book, but things really start to pick up in the second half. So if you're having a hard time with this book, I would suggest that you keep going. I mean, or not. It's always your decision, but if you're not sure, I would suggest to keep trying with it. Next up, we have Girl Stolen by April Henry. This is one of my 25 before 25 books. 16-year-old Cheyenne Wilder is sleeping in the back of the car while her stepmom fills a prescription for antibiotics. Before Cheyenne realizes what's happening, the car is being stolen. Griffin hadn't meant to kidnap Cheyenne, and once he finds out that not only does she have pneumonia, but that she's blind, he really doesn't know what to do. When his dad finds out that Cheyenne's father is the president of a powerful corporation, everything changes. Now there's a reason to keep her. How will Cheyenne survive this nightmare? This book was okay. The actual thriller part, it was interesting. Cheyenne was an easy character to root for. But I will say, I could have used more character development. I could have used about 100 more pages. This is a very short book. It's only 213 pages according to Goodreads, and I could have used more time to develop the characters. Next up, we have The 7 Torments of Amy and Craig, a book that I started in 2025 and finally finished in 2026. Janesville, Wisconsin, cold in the sense that there is no God, 1994. The worst thing that's ever happened to Craig is also the best, Amy. Amy and Craig never should have gotten together. Craig is an awkward Dungeons & Dragons playing geek, and Amy is the beautiful, fiercely intelligent student body president of their high school. Yet somehow they did, until Amy dumped him, then got back together with him, then dumped him again, then got back together with him again, over and over and over. Unfolding during their senior year, Amy and Craig's exhilarating, tumultuous relationship is a kaleidoscope of joy, pain, and laughter as an uncertain future and adult responsibility loom on the horizon. Craig fights for his dream of escaping Janesville and finding his place at a quirky college, while Amy's quest to uncover her true self sometimes involves being Craig's girlfriend and sometimes doesn't. 7 Heartbreaks, 7 Joys. Told non-sequentially, acclaimed playwright Don Zolaitis' debut novel is a brutally funny, bittersweet taste of the utterly unique and utterly universal experience of first love. I enjoyed this book overall. It definitely suffers from written by a man syndrome at times. But and if you can like get past that, you have like a really nice story with a surprising amount of depth. Next up, we've got A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. The best-selling novel about love, loss, and hope from the twice Carnegie Medal-winning Patrick Ness. Connor has the same dream every night, ever since his mother first fell ill, ever since she started the treatments that don't quite seem to be working. But tonight is different. Tonight when he wakes, there's a visitor at his window. It's ancient, elemental, a force of nature. And it wants the most dangerous thing of all from Connor. It wants the truth. Patrick Ness takes the final idea of the late award-winning writer Siobhan Dowd and weaves an extraordinary and heartbreaking tale of mischief, healing, and above all, the courage it takes to survive. I really enjoyed this book. It is a middle grade book, so you gotta keep that in mind if you're planning to read it. It is the main character is very much a 13-year-old boy, but it is just a beautiful story about grief and the things that it does to us. The illustrations add a lot to this story. You cannot read this as an audiobook. Next up, we've got Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. The number one New York Times bestselling author of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, now a hit Netflix series, returns with her first novel for adults, a twisty thriller about a young woman trying to solve her own murder. In 7 days, Jet Mason will be dead. Jet is the daughter of one of the wealthiest families in Woodstock, Vermont. 27 years old, she's still waiting for her life to begin. I'll do it later, she always says. She has time. Until Halloween night, when Jet is violently attacked by an unseen intruder. She suffers a catastrophic head injury. The doctor is certain that within a week, the injury will trigger a deadly aneurysm. Jet has never thought of herself as having enemies, but now she looks at everyone in a new light. Her family, her former best friend turned sister-in-law, her ex-boyfriend. She has, at most, 7 days, and as her condition deteriorates, she has only her childhood friend Billy for help. But nevertheless, she's absolutely determined to finally finish something. Jet is going to solve her own murder. I really enjoyed this book. It was a very exciting thriller. The mystery aspects of it were very interesting. And I like how it was kind of a unique spin on the genre, with the character having to solve her own murder, her own attempted but like eventually successful murder. Next up, we have Book Lovers by Emily Henry. One summer, two rivals, a plot twist they didn't see coming. Nora Stevens' life is books. She's read them all, and she's not that type of heroine. Not the plucky one, not the laid-back dream girl, and especially not the sweetheart. In fact, the only people Nora is a heroine for are her clients, for whom she lands enormous deals as a cutthroat literary agent, and her beloved little sister, Libby. Which is why she agrees to go to Sunshine Falls, North Carolina for the month of August when Libby begs her for a sister's trip away, with visions of a small-town transformation for Nora, who she's convinced needs to become the heroine in her own story. But instead of picnics in meadows, or run-ins with a handsome country doctor or bulging four-armed bartender, Nora keeps bumping into Charlie Lastra, a bookish, brooding editor from back in the city. It would be a meet cute if not for the fact that they've met many times and it's never been cute. If Nora knows that she's not an ideal heroine, Charlie knows he's nobody's hero, but as they are thrown together again and again, in a series of coincidences no editor worth their salt would allow, what they discover might just unravel the carefully crafted stories they've written about themselves. Oh, book lovers. This would have been such a fun and enjoyable book if it was not so ridiculously horny. If you're promising me rivals to lovers, what I do not want is for them to be making out in the rain during the first, 25% of the book. There are, I can handle, one sex scene. There were, 3 almost had sex scenes, and then an actual sex scene. The actual plot of this book was quite enjoyable. It's just a shame. It really is. Next up, we have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. How far would you go for happily ever after? For as long as she can remember, Evangeline Fox has believed in true love and happy endings, until she learns that the love of her life will marry another. Desperate to stop the wedding and to heal her wounded heart, Evangeline strikes a deal with the charismatic but wicked Prince of Hearts. In exchange for his help, he asks for 3 kisses, to be given at the time and place of his choosing. But after Evangeline's first promised kiss, she learns that bargaining with an immortal is a dangerous game, and that the Prince of Hearts wants far more from her than she'd pledged. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy. I enjoyed this book overall. I felt that it dragged in the second half, but once we kind of got past the part that dragged, I had a fun and enjoyable experience with this book. Will I read the next 2 books in the series? Who's to say? But I liked how the romance was not too much too soon with Evangeline and the Prince of Hearts. I do know that they end up together eventually. I kind of got that spoiled for me, I guess. Because there's gonna be like a novella about them. That's like coming soon. Hopefully that's not too much of a spoiler for this crowd, because I mean, it is tagged with the romance genre, so. Last up, we have All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. This is another book that I read for my 25 before 25. And I forgot to mention this, A Monster Calls was as well. 1975 is a time of change in America. The Vietnam War is ending. Muhammad Ali is fighting Joe Frazier. And in the small town of Montclair, Missouri, girls are disappearing. When the daughter of a wealthy family is targeted, the most unlikely hero emerges. Patch, a local boy, who saves the girl and in doing so leaves heartache in his wake. Patch and those who love him soon discover that the line between triumph and tragedy has never been finer, and that their search for answers will lead them to truths that could mean losing one another. A missing person mystery, a serial killer thriller, a love story, a unique twist on each. Chris Whitaker has written a novel about what lurks in the shadows of obsession and the blinding light of hope. I did not like this book. I thought it was very boring and very pointless. I don't even know what else to say about it. It just wasn't for me. And that is it. All the books that I read in January. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please consider joining the Drama Camp role-playing group by February 10th. I will put a link to the group in the comments. If you mention that you were referred from YouTube, I will cover a Taylor Swift song of your choice. And that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. You're the best.